Hey guys, welcome back to the vlog. If you're new here, my name is Mark and this is my fiance Joey.
Hi.
And if you are returning, thank you guys for coming back and checking out this new video. Everyone has been asking me when I'm going to do a video with Joey by ourselves, talking about how we met in our relationship. When I met him, I was 19 and he was 38, so that is about
19 years.
19 years?
Yeah.
So, it's a pretty big, I guess, it's a pretty big deal in our relationship. It's kind of how, like, it's our story. So I wanted to go ahead and talk about how we met. I wanted to answer some of y'all's questions that you guys sent in on Instagram. So let's go ahead and get started.
Wait, I have a question.
What?
Is that it?
What?
Is that it?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you had to give a disclosure.
A disclosure?
Yeah.
Like what?
Like there was no harmed people in this making of this video, because you know you like to fight.
No.
You know, I have a feeling you're gonna argue a little
We're
bit.
not gonna argue on this video. He's gonna tell y'all how we met.
Oh,
so,
okay.
we're gonna go ahead and start about how we met. And I'm gonna go let him and take over and tell you guys how we met in 2014.
Oh, okay. So, we met online, and this was a very unusual situation for me. I have never dated anyone younger than me. So, in the past, I've always dated someone my age or older. Mark is the first person that I dated younger than me and severely younger than me. Mm-hmm. And so I took a risk, and not sure why or what interested me in doing it. I think I was just kind of entertaining the fact that he was younger and entertaining him. Anyways, he messaged me and I messaged him, and there's really no interest in it at the beginning, actually. And he just kept on, and I was just, you know, I was busy at the time. Mm-hmm. And just messaging, you know, kind of like it was kind of like there was no substance to the messages actually going back and forth at the beginning, but they actually started leading to something, I believe, within that day. Yeah. And then before I knew it, we started talking about, you know, interests, and I think we started talking about movies. That was I think that's because that's our main interest is movies, and actually horror movies are our main interest. So yeah. Then we planned on meeting up one day, and we did, and then we started seeing each other and talking, and that's how we met.
Yeah, I mean, everyone that knows us, we're always at the movies, so that really put us together. And then, of course, I believe, like, on our first actual official date, we got to know each other. And one important thing that happened on our first date, I think that made me realize that I was interested, was, like, you took me to where you grew up. And that kind of was just like, okay, like, he's sharing a lot more about, like, how he grew up, his life. And so I kind of was just like, wow, like, this isn't just, like, dating. Like, this might lead to something in the future.
Right.
That's kind of how we met. Of course, it was not like any other people that I've met. Like, this has always been, I always say this is, like, my first relationship. So it's kind of special how we met, and I always hold that close to my heart, because, like, it's just, I think 2014, me being 19 years old and, like, looking forward now, like, it's opened up so many doors, and the challenges that brought us to our relationship, which we're gonna go into next, is the age gap. The age gap is, like, where we struggled, not only for us, but for more my family, because I guess my family was got more involved because I was so young. One of the biggest things that kind of led our relationship downhill in the beginning. I mean, I don't want to say downhill, but it was a big obstacle.
Yeah.
Living with my parents at 19, and I was pretty open with where I would go when I left the house. And I never told them that I dated, because that was something I always was nervous about. My brother, on the other hand, he was always open about dating, and I wasn't. I guess because in the past I've always gotten heartbroken with like meeting people and them just not putting 100% like I was. So when I told my mom I was dating, one of the questions was, well, how old is he? And when I told them, they definitely didn't approve at first. Actually, they told me that I shouldn't date him, and they didn't want me to date him. So being 19 and naive and kind of worried about what everyone else thought than what I thought, I kind of drifted away and told them, hey, like, this is not something I want to pursue. I don't want to talk anymore. And weeks went by, and that's when I realized, like, you know what, like, you can't make other people happy. You have to make yourself happy. And I was like, you know what, forget what my parents say, forget what my friends say, like, I'm gonna pursue this relationship. And I think with me showing them that I wasn't gonna listen to what they were saying, kind of proved that, like, I was ready for this relationship.
When he did go through this, I went through the same thing too. So I was kind of like, hey, do I really want to continue this with someone 19 years younger than me? And when he did separate himself because of his parents, and him trying to figure out also, you know, do I want to date someone older? You know, we had to, I guess both sides, you know, while we were separated, had to figure things out. And what drew me to him was his personality, and also his mature side. He, you know, he did have his mature side, and he did have his immature side. Mm-hmm. And the mature side was what really drew me to him, and that was his foundation of commitment to his like his career, his job, and his devoted time to his family and things like that. He had morals and self-respect, those kinds of things. There was his immature side where, you know, it was typical at a 19-year-old, you know, where, you know, friends and making some poor decisions on things that he needed to kind of work on, that I understood. When it came to his parents, you know, telling him, you know, not to see or date someone mm-hmm. of my age, I completely understood. I had to figure out a way, if I wanted to continue seeing Mark, how was I going to portray myself and show them that I was not a predator per se, trying to use Mark for something else. That I was interested in him for who he was, not what he was. You know, a young, naive person. So Mark contacted me again, and, you know, after me trying to get in touch with him, and we talked about it, and he said, hey, let's continue trying to see where this goes. Mm-hmm. And my thought process was, hey, if I can treat him well and you know, show him, you know, that I am a caring person, and not try to be his dad or try to be a sugar daddy. So in order for me to do that, there was one opportunity that I had to show them that I was a genuine person interested in Mark. And I had a business trip coming up later. It was about 10 months after I met Mark. Mm-hmm. And it was 9 months actually. So I had a business trip, and so Mark, it was I invited Mark to come with me, and I would, you know, cover all his expenses. And so I asked him if he'd be interested in going, and he said sure. So what I did was I wrote his parents a letter, and at this time they knew that we had been seeing each other, you know, a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And I explained to them that, hey, you know, I'm going on a business trip. I'm inviting Mark. Gonna pay for all of his expenses, and that they were partially paid, you know, of course, because my business would take care of my expenses, and so I would only be covering some of his. And of course, not in a sugar daddy way, but
yes.
And we're gonna be going and doing extravagant things, you know what I mean? So, and I also explained to them, you know, I don't have a high-paying job or anything like that, so this was something to take him somewhere. You know, he's young, and you know, I hadn't started traveling yet.
I've never flown before.
Okay, and so, and I just wanted to have him experience something, and experience something with me, and you know, and show them, you know, that I wanted them to trust me at the same time. And so I don't know what happened. You know, I know they read the letter, they received it. I don't know what they said. They never responded. I never heard from them. I didn't expect to, but they did give Mark permission to come with me, and I'm sure that they were a little reluctant to do that, because they're like, okay, you know, Mark is leaving, you know, the state with some man that we don't even know, and they're probably thinking like, we hope he even comes back. But I did give them all the information they needed.
Everything.
If they needed to contact him, I gave them my airline reservations, my hotel reservations, any contact information they needed. I gave them anything that they needed, and so I wanted to start building that trust with them, and that was my way to do that. And so we went on the trip. We came back, and you know, they had their son, and so that's how I did that part.
And a month later, he actually met my mom officially, because we went to Chicago in September, and then he met my mom in October. That whole situation was just crazy, because my mom, I had told him that we were going to go to SeaWorld for like the Howl-O-Scream stuff, and I was like, if you want to come, you can come. And he surprised me by showing up and meeting my mom, and like, I think they hit it like, it was just like, they've known each other for like ever. And I think that's kind of what, I think it needed time before they met, because if they would have met right away, it would have been a little like, not genuine, just kind of forced. And I think giving my mom the time that she needed, it helped. And then he met my dad Thanksgiving Day, and the rest of my family. And that, I mean, from there, I mean, that's when we got their support. And to this day, my mom always says, Joey, I still have the letter and I read it. And, I mean, like I said, my mom and Joey are just inseparable. And I think, like, that whole process of, you know, what we went through, and my parents being scared of the whole situation made us stronger.
Yeah. So then, when I met Dora, Mark's mom, I realized, I think I put a little too much effort into trying to prove who I was, because that lady's crazy.
She's crazy. She's crazy, yeah.
Yeah, so she's my BFF. So Dora, it's officially documented and recorded. You're my BFF. It doesn't need to be on paper.
Yes.
So she knows what that means.
So if you're watching, Mom, no more, BFF, like, it's official.
And just to, so I haven't explained like what was in that letter. So in that letter, it was short and sweet. And what I did explain to them was I wasn't a creeper, and that just from what I learned from Mark, I knew who they were, and that I grew up just like them. I had my my family values, and that I worked hard to be where I was at. I didn't have an education, but I have a position in a company that pays just as if I did have an education. And that's because I worked hard, and my parents taught me to get to that point. And just like his parents, they actually had to work harder to where they're at, because they had Mark and his brother at such a young age, and so they had to work harder. And so
I don't know why I'm getting emotional. I'm sorry.
So and the other thing I had put in that letter was I just explained the entire trip and what it was gonna entail, and also that where I came from as well. That, you know, that my background of my family, and, you know, that I was not like a violent person or anything like that, and that I was here to take care of Mark, and that I was not going to use him and you know, leave him hanging, you know, one day, you know, just throw him out and hurt him in any way. And I think maybe that's why, and I'm hoping that I don't remember everything, you know, exactly how I put in the letter, but I'm hoping that, you know, now it's been 5 years, and that, you know, Dora says that she goes back to that letter every now and again, and I'm hoping that there's nothing in that letter that contradicts anything that I've written in there, and it's all still valid.
True.
So and I'm sure it is. So that's I did put my heart into that letter and my promise, and I'm sure it still stands.
Yeah, I mean, I read the letter after. I didn't read it at first before I gave it to them, because he told me not to open it, and so I didn't open it. And I mean, when I saw it, I was like, oh my god, like, this is kind of official, like, this letter is saying a lot. My mom read it, and she was like, she was like, okay. Like, she was still stubborn about it, but I think she just knew that this is something that I wanted, and she'll tell you to this day, whatever makes her kids happy makes her happy, and she knew he made me happy. My dad, on the other point, it took my dad a while to kind of open up. When my mom said he just read the letter and was like, okay, cool. Like, my dad doesn't really show emotion. I think actually the first time he showed emotion in front of you was when he moved to Arizona, and we had like an emotional time. And I think one thing that he told him was like, okay, like, I'm leaving, like, you need to take care of my son. And I think when he told him that, like, it just changed everything, because I feel like that was my dad giving his blessing to you, that he was okay with the situation. And I think it might have taken him a little bit longer, but I mean, that itself said a lot. That is pretty much, you know, the whole family situation, because a lot of our relationship was kind of a struggle with my family. His family, not so much.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think here the dynamics of our family are very, very different. So and I think the misconception here is that Mark's family is extremely open, and they tell each other everything. And I'm gonna let out a family secret right here. They will call each other and say, hey, you know what, such and such and such and such, but don't tell so and so. As soon as that phone hangs up, they call the next person. Did you know that? And so they are very close, and they trust each other. They trust each other with secrets. They still will call and snitch out each other.
Yeah.
And so there's no family secrets, because even though they do say, you know, don't tell each other or don't tell so and so,
it's out there. They're
gonna call each other, and they're gonna tell each other anyway. If Mark called his brother and said, don't tell mom,
that bitch is gonna call Dora.
Yeah, he's gonna call Dora and tell her, and Dora's gonna deny it.
And then when I tell, she's like, "What? Huh?"
Yes.
Like,
because Mark's gonna call her and tell her anyway.
Yes,
an hour later.
Yes, I just need time to think what I'm gonna say, but it's already out there.
Yeah. So that's their family. So that's the reason that there's a lot of family
overprotective.
Yeah, conversations and a lot of family dynamics.
Yes.
You know, which is fine. I'm not saying it's wrong or anything like that. It's just there's a lot of communication in their family, and it is constant. My family is we're a little more patient. We don't if my sister tells me something, or if I tell my sister something, it can wait. You know, if she says don't tell mom, I'm not gonna tell mom. If I tell her don't tell dad or don't tell my brother, I won't tell them. I'll let her tell when it's her time, because we're just a little more patient with information, and so and that's fine too. You know, we're just a little slow paced in our family with communication, and so my family, you know, of course they didn't know when I met Mark. They don't know when things started escalating. They had no idea.
It was just I slowly made my way into...
Well, he says slowly, but not really. They met Mark way before I met his family.
As a friend, though. As a friend.
Yeah, it was as a friend. So, we met in January, and by March, they met him, and as a friend. So, you know, Mark is very, very impatient, and, you know, he was here at my house, and my parents were here. I was having a garage sale, and Mark was here to help, and I just had to introduce him to my parents as, hey, this is my friend, he's here to help with this garage sale. And so, and at that time, I think we were still just in a dating.
Yeah, because we didn't get to make it official till March, so it might have been before.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So that's how things are. But
I think it has to do too with the times, like
the age difference.
The age difference, like, because like us 90s babies or whatever, like our parents, like, they do everything for us. They pay for everything. They, you know, they let us live with them till we're like freaking 27, and we're just like, we're catered. Our parents make us like everything about them, so that's why we're so open, because they expect that. And of course, when he was raised in his time back then, because even my mom says it, parenting was like, you need to learn, you're gonna get yourself out there and start doing this, start doing that. So that's kind of why things are how they were in our relationship. And it's nothing that we would go back and be like, oh, I wish we could change that. Like, I think that's what made us stronger. And just, you know, I think if you're gonna involve yourself in an age gap relationship, communication is key with your partner. Communication is not key with your family, so keep them split.
Yeah.
Especially in the beginning, because that's when it gets rough.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, the family was a big part. Friends, I mean, we're just gonna leave it like that, because friends come and go, and the real ones stay.
That's true.
Especially
for the older ones. Mm-hmm. I can contest to that one.
I don't even think we should just, we're just gonna skip that subject. But, I mean, I think our age gap has proven a lot, and from being 19 to gonna be 25 this year, I mean, I feel like I've grown up so much, and next year we're getting married, so obviously we did something right.
Yeah.
I mean, there are still things that I need to fix. Like, I'm not gonna say that I'm mature, like, all of a sudden, like, I'm still immature. I still go out and, you know, try to fight everyone when I'm drunk or something, like, it's because I'm, you know, freaking 25, or 24, but, like, every day is a learning process. And,
oh, yeah.
I mean, we've grown, like, from what we used to argue about when we were 19 to now. It's like, it's grown folk stuff, like, and I think that's good. So we're gonna go ahead and start the Q&A part of this video.
I'm nervous.
I asked, yeah, I mean, because some people that ask questions are a little wild, so, and a lot of my friends, I mean, those of you who know Joey in real life, y'all know how he is in real life. Those of y'all who have met him once and don't really know him, that's kind of why we wanted to film this video, so you guys can go ahead and finally understand why I'm so committed about this whole relationship and, you know, just know more about us.
And so, for those of you that are watching that are my friends, we'll get to know Mark a little better and see why I am attracted to him and and am with him, and you'll get to see this side because we do work together. We work in the same building, and they don't get to see this side of Mark. And he's at work. He's a little more when he's around me. He's quiet and he kind of has an RBF at work. So so people don't see him as a nice outgoing person sometimes. Only when he's around his friends at work. He's different. So he's just a different person at home and around me. So this is a side that I like, okay?
Yeah, and I don't have an RBF. That's just something that Dora gave to me. We're RBFs for life, so. The first question, and these questions, I'm going to leave them anonymous because I don't, you know, privacy. The first question is, what's y'all's favorite thing about each other? We say, like, how nice, like, you really are, like you're just, like, really, like, I was like, wait, what? I was like, okay, like, he's, like, really, like, genuine, and, like, he helps everyone. Like, you can be asked to him, and he'll still help you. Like, me and him, I'm just like, you're too nice, but he's, like, really nice, like, really nice. So that's my favorite thing about you, is, like, you're giving, you're caring. Put that all in one. Nice.
So there's the same for me. It's a lot of things I like about Mark, but I think it's his sense of humor. It has to be the top, because if it wasn't for your sense of humor, there'd be no way that you'd be here right now. That would have to be, that'd be the top thing. Yeah. It's, you know, the way you can just carry on and make people laugh and stuff like that, because you know, your sense of humor, it ranges from, you know, something quick and short, you know, fast humor, to something that's like you can carry on, you know, till we have to tell you to stop and shut up already. So
because I've offended somebody by then.
Yeah, so thanks.
But yeah, of course. Let's see, Joey, how is it dating someone younger than you?
So this is a long-ended question.
Yeah.
So dating someone younger than me is a challenge, and it's a continuous challenge, and it's a learning. I'm constantly learning this dating thing. At the very beginning, it was very difficult for a lot of reasons. One reason was I had not been in a relationship, a serious relationship, other than one other kind of relationship in my early 20s. It's many years I've just dated. So when Mark and I were getting in a serious relationship, one thing was dating again, and then he moved in, living with someone. I've never lived with anyone, so that was a learning curve for me. And then living with someone younger than me who had different likes, dislikes, a different background. There's a lot of things that I had to conform to,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's a constant challenge. It was a constant challenge for me, and I've learned to accept a lot of those differences, and I'm a perfectionist, and I've had to learn how to accept some of those, what I would have to call imperfections, because I've had to deal with those internally in my own head. We have a better relationship, and I'm not saying it's only my part. It's Mark's part too.
Yeah.
He contributed a lot into our relationship, and it's something that it comes with communication. So I have to communicate to him, and he reciprocates, and then he communicates with me, and we have to tell each other what we like and what we don't like. And
when they say communication is key, communication is freaking key. Like,
right.
if you don't have that,
and so no, it's not only communicating likes and dislikes, it's also communicating things like when they say relationship is 50-50, it's 50-50 all around
everything.
And it's putting in contributing in the home, it's contributing financially,
Yeah.
it's contributing in your relationship, emotionally and intimately, in every sense that you can think of. Something that I introduced Mark into was our spiritual relationship with and in our spiritual relationship, and so it's something that he was not interested at all.
No.
And so that's something we had to bring into our relationship, and that has helped us significantly.
Yes.
And so that's my take on that.
How it is dating someone younger.
Yeah.
The next question is, who said I love you first?
Okay.
I did. Right?
I don't remember.
I said I love him first, and then I made him.
Yeah, no, let's clarify that here. I said I love you first by force, under the influence.
Yes.
So we don't count that one.
Yeah.
We actually had to, when we were
redo it.
Sobered up, we said, okay, well, that doesn't count.
Yes. So we'll go to the next.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Do y'all want any kids? It's a tricky question. At first, I wanted kids, but I mean, there's just 2019. I mean, we're in 2019, and the way kids are these days, they're assholes, and I don't want to raise a kid in these times. And also, honestly, like, the real answer to this is I like being able to spoil him, and that's it. Like, and I think we have fur babies, we have fish babies, we have a bird, we have a whole fucking zoo, so we don't need kids.
And our bird is not even here.
It's staying out of vacation at his parents' house because it's so loud. But our fur baby Alani, she takes so much time up, and she cries like a baby every morning, every night. So that's kind of our kids.
Yeah.
I think we're doing fine without kids. I mean, maybe later. I mean, it's still open, but I don't think it's ever gonna happen.
I don't know.
Right?
Yeah. I can't wait any later.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay. How do you feel when people ask about y'all's age gap? I mean, I'm very proud when someone asks me, like, oh, like, I mean, in the beginning it was more like, oh, is that like people that aren't my friends, they were like talking crap, like, oh, like, much Mark sugar daddy, like, no, I have a job, I bring in, you know, my part, I do my part, and then once people started, like, seeing how serious we were as the years went by, you know, I'm proud to say, like, our age gap is awesome. Like, I mean, I don't feel ashamed. I mean, to each his own. I mean, yeah, we all judge everyone, but at the end of the day, you gotta do what makes you happy. And if me dating somebody twice my age makes me happy, then sorry about it. And speaking of the wedding, who's more in the planning of the wedding, Mark or Joey? Who's more involved with what?
Okay, so let me clarify something. The reason that I am planning the wedding is because...
If I could, I would have my wedding at Peter Piper
No,
Pizza.
this is the reason. When we met in January of 2014.
2014.
Then he was very anxious to get together, and he wanted to be boyfriends official. So he kept on and you know,
that's right,
pushing for that. So we got together on his terms. Then in that same summer, he was very adamant that he move in with me, and I did not want him to.
Yeah, I moved in fast.
And I said no, and then he came up with a story, and we won't go into details, but no. I gave in and into his story, and he moved in that summer.
Not even a year, and I moved in.
Yeah, so those 3 things in 1 year, within 6 months of meeting him, he got those 3 major milestones done in a relationship. So then he started talking about marriage in that same year.
Oh my God.
And I was like, whoa, you know, and this is the immature side that I'm talking about.
I don't remember that.
And I said, okay, no, we're not talking about marriage right now. Okay. And so then I said, we'll talk about marriage in 5 years.
As soon as it turned 5 years, you best believe.
Yes.
I started the planning.
No, that's why you proposed.
Yes.
Because 5 years is coming.
And we always said he was going to propose to me. But at that
he was impatient again because I had plans to do the proposal. So problems happened, and I had to delay it. But he couldn't wait. He didn't even know I was planning the proposal. He couldn't wait, and he proposed to me. So then he went with the proposal.
But it was a good one.
We were on 4 things here that he's done. So then, here we are with the wedding. So I said, this is me right here.
Take a seat and I'm gonna take control. That's what she said.
Yes. So let me do something with this relationship.
Which is fine.
Can I have some?
Yes. Which is fine.
Can I finish?
Yes.
So, I'm planning the wedding. Of course, he is participating. So everything I'm planning and everything that I'm going through, he's there. I'm letting him help decide. I'm presenting things to him. He's looking, all of that stuff. Yes, it's 50-50, but I'm going with
initiating it, yeah.
Initiating first. So that's how I like to do things. Thank you. You may.
Let me just tell you, the proposal was amazing, and I mean, I did good.
Yeah. Okay, thank you whoever sent in this question. We know who you are.
Okay, next question. The first time y'all farted in front of each other. Who farted first?
We don't toot.
Yeah, we're classy. No, but I mean,
big lie.
If we're being serious, like, I fart at work in front of everybody. Like, I don't care. So that should just tell you itself that I done farted.
And he's farted about 10 times during the making of this video.
Yes.
We apologize.
So, at least you don't get to smell it.
Yeah.
How do y'all deal with people who aren't comfortable with y'all's relationship? I really don't. Yeah, we don't care. I mean, if you don't like it, don't be around us. Like, simple as that. If I gotta fight, I will fight. How did you and Joey know that you wanted to spend the rest of your lives together?
Maybe I can answer some of this. Like I said, you know, when in that first year, how he kept moving from boyfriend to moving in to let's plan a wedding, you know, you're rushing things. And I said, oh, whoa, let's slow down here. I had to slow things down because, you know, things don't work that fast in real life. Mm-hmm. And So that's why I just kind of threw a number out there and said, hey, in 5 years, you know, if this is still working out, then let's talk about it. And because I think 5 years would really give us a good idea if we really were meant for each other.
Yeah.
I think because we are here today and we've gone through many hurdles, I think that gives us a lot of validation that we are ready to move forward.
Yeah, I agree. So, thank you for whoever sent that in, because it was a good question.
Yeah.
And the final question, who pursued who? Was there ever a doubt because of the age gap? Well,
obviously
I pursued him. For some reason, I've always been attracted to older guys. I've never dated one, so that's why I was like, oh my god. But I pursued, and obviously I won. And was there ever a doubt because of the age gap? Yes. There was doubts, like, all the time. I mean, that's in every relationship, but I think because of the age gap, like, that's a whole another story itself. And again, it's not something that, like, we're gonna say all on camera, but every relationship has doubts, and it just depends if you overcome them or if you don't. And obviously we've overcame them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's doubt and there's precaution, and it's kind of like a thin line between the two, you know. Yeah. You know, precaution, you know, because of past relationships, you know, you have your guard up, and then doubt because of the challenges that you're facing, and so those are the two things that you have to kind of balance out and work out with this type of relationship. But we got through it.
So that was pretty much all the questions we got. Final thoughts about our relationship, the whole age gap. I mean, you said in the beginning, if you want to date someone older, you do. It makes you happy. At the end of the day, no one's gonna tell you, like, how you feel. If you feel that vibe that for someone, go with it. I mean, we're living proof that age is just a number, and if someone doesn't care or someone has something to say, ignore it. Life is too short to stay in the past. Whether you lose friends, whether you lose family, you gotta make yourself happy. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for sending in questions. This was long overdue, and we're actually going to be celebrating our 5 years together, March 5th, 2019. So it's a huge hurdle for us, and that's why we wanted to share this video with you all. If you guys like this video, let us know. We're willing to do a part 2. You know, we can do one about how we got engaged, or go more into detail on things that we may have not covered today. And again, thank you guys for y'all's support. Like the video, comment, share, and of course subscribe. Thank you for being on this video.
Yes, sir.
And love you guys. Thank you for watching the vlog. Bye.
Bye.